So task management, I think, is probably one of my stronger suits in life. Um, but I don't think it's necessarily always been that way. But I do have a few like tips and tricks for you guys on just like getting things done. And that's everything from your dishes, which I mean, if you already have a dishwasher, you're a step ahead of me because I do not. So I have to wash all my dishes by hand. But my quick disclaimer to this before I begin is I don't have children. So I if you have kids and you're watching this and you're like, this doesn't okay, I don't know. You're right. I don't understand. And two, I'm also able bodied. It does not hurt me to like vacuum. I don't get like sore or anything. So I can understand how this could be more difficult for some people. But for the rest of us, these are some tips that you can probably apply. So for one is this was actually something I heard on like Pinterest or something a long time ago, and it was the 20-minute timer trick. Have you ever heard of that, Mark?
Do something for 20 minutes, and then
Yeah. So
everything just takes 20 minutes,
it
regardless.
basically,
Yeah, no,
basically,
I've heard that.
setting a 20-minute timer. That was like my beginning of because I used to have a messy room. I was bad at doing my laundry, keeping up with laundry. Dishes were piling up. Like things were just always dirty, and I like a clean environment. And I was like, I don't know how to manage this. Um, I heard that 20-minute timer thing, and I just started doing that where I was like, turn on a 20-minute timer. I'm going to clean up my room, if that's just sort out the laundry that's sitting on the floor or whatever, and go from there. And I found out very quickly that most things don't even take 20 minutes, they take 10. And then you're like, oh, that didn't take as long as I thought. But like in your head, it's like you're making it up to be this big thing. It's like some people who really hate dishes, which I don't I don't fully understand that. Like,
I hate dishes.
um, but okay, here's my thing is I wonder like why do we hate dishes? Is it just the act? For you, is it just getting it done? Like putting the dish in the dishwasher?
It's taking time out of things that I would rather be doing elsewhere. I just don't want to waste my time doing it. I have
Oh,
no
okay, okay. Would
satisfaction.
you say it's the same way with like laundry, making your bed, just cleaning, organizing in general? But
General, any of those things that
in
take
general,
away
any
from
other thing.
satisfying my desires to do something that I
I
want to do.
Okay, that's fair. And I think that I felt that same way too. And what I did was I started telling myself, when I do this, I get to do this. When I clean the kitchen, I get to go play my game. When I clean up my room, I get to go, I get to feel better. Because, like, would you agree that, like, you feel better in a clean environment?
Yes.
In an organized environment. So like it's kind of hacking your brain into getting addicted to feeling good in your environment. And the only way to do that is to do the hard thing. So a big thing was like rewarding myself was like I said, if I clean the dishes, then I can sit down and I can read my book and I can play my game and I don't have to be like, oh my god, the dishes aren't done. Or when I walk into the kitchen to let my dog out for the night and the kitchen's a mess, I'm like, great, I have to wake up to this dirty kitchen. So that again, 20-minute timers and then like figuring out a way to reward yourself and just doing the hard thing first. Like that is huge. Just do the hard thing. Just do it. And it's never as bad as you think it is. Like just go start the laundry. It's actually not that hard. When you go do it, you're like that literally took me 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Yeah, at most
Four.
sometimes.
4 minutes to start the load of laundry or flip it.
Yeah, I don't mind
And
doing. I personally don't mind doing laundry because it is genuinely incredibly fast when you
right.
don't
And
have
then
when you have a washer and dryer.
even like folding, you're like, okay, that took me 10. Or
Yeah,
that took me max 15. Like what was that? 15 more minutes of scrolling on TikTok? It's like really evaluating and looking at what is huge. And then my other thing, so far 20-minute timers I think are huge. Two is doing the hard thing first. Okay, just do the hard thing. Go do the dishes. It doesn't take as long as you think it does. And then rewarding yourself when you do that. When I do this, I get to do this. And that's just Some people call it so consequence kind of has a bad connotation around it, but it is a consequence. Your consequence is a reward in this situation. Um, but the second, or sorry, I guess fourth would be uh, we have comments. Oh, Flylady.
Have you heard of
Um,
that? Have you ever heard of Flylady?
yeah, actually, Margaret talked to me about it when we were there. And I haven't looked into it, but I have, she did tell me all about it. And that sounds pretty amazing. Um, and I think it's a very similar like concept to what I'm talking about anyway.
100%
And,
from what I
yeah.
understand.
And number four would just be like having a daily, weekly, monthly checklist, and that is something that, like, for instance, I'm still building on. That I have a planner that has all that stuff written in it. So every
Could you
month,
go into detail about your planner and your virtual planner? Because I know
sure.
I think there's some people on here that might be interested in virtual planners and organizing.
Yeah, so I have it's exactly what it sounds like. Instead of having a paper planner that you put through on paper, you have a digital one, which is I run everything on my iPhone, called Good Notes, and it's literally exactly what it sounds like. It's just a planner, and if you have an Apple Pencil, in this case, again, since I have Apple, but you could do this on any tablet, it's much easier when you have some sort of pen. And there's all sorts of different planners out there. For years, I made my own, and then I recently just bought one off of Etsy. There's so many different ones for finance and cleaning and daily life and stuff like that. So on in my digital planning, I have a household section where I write in all of my daily, weekly, and monthly checklists. So like my monthly would be I need to wash my sheets, I need to wash all the throw blankets, I need to cut my dog's nails, like anything that needs to be done in these four walls needs to go on that list. Weekly is I need to clean out the fridge, I need to take out the garbage, I need to, just anything like that. And for me, again, getting addicted to the feeling of like being able to put a check mark there just makes my life feel really full. For some reason, I'm like, I get to put a check mark because I did the thing. It like that makes me feel good, but that didn't always. So that's like what I mean by like you really have to hack your brain into liking things. But I've done that a lot in my life. I've figured out where I'm like, I used to hate reading. I hated reading. I made myself like reading.
You're a crazy person. I'm just kidding.
I didn't even like the piano. I'm a piano teacher. I didn't like the piano. I'm like, no, I don't like. And then I was like, no, I'm gonna make myself like piano, and I love the piano now. It's like my instrument, right? So I don't know. Maybe I am a little crazy, but I do think you can hack your brain into liking things. Even if I don't like doing dishes, I like the way the dishes being done makes me feel, and that's like
Yeah.
the biggest takeaway
Okay.
that I can give. Um, is do the hard thing first. Just do the dishes, and then you're gonna be like, wow, look at my kitchen, and revel in that for a second, and then go do whatever you want, and you don't have to feel guilty or like, oh my god, that thing isn't done, because it's done. That's my favorite feeling in the world.
So as someone who has used to feel guilty about not doing things and has in turn trained himself to not feel guilty about not doing the task he's supposed to be doing and then just being like it doesn't matter, like I've trained myself to not care that something's not done, if that makes sense, and then like if when it gets to the point that it's actually bothering me, then take care of it. Like I'm gonna take my trash out until it smells so bad I can't bear it, and then I'll take it out.
So there's a difference between something needs to be done and now it's urgent.
Right. So usually, like I've trained myself that when it's like not urgent, that it's like it can wait. It's not urgent enough.
Do it before it becomes urgent, though.
Well, okay. I'm
Otherwise,
asking
it
you,
like
and
falls into
what is your recommendation to someone that doesn't have that sense of, just get the sense of
um,
urgency to do it?
have you ever heard of? I think it's pronounced nihilism.
No.
Nihilist. Okay, basically it's the philosophy that nothing matters. Um, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you do your dishes. It doesn't matter if you do the laundry. It doesn't matter if you take the trash out. It doesn't matter if you wash your sheets. It does, and it's true. In a way, it doesn't actually matter. No one's actually making you do
The
that.
only person that's affected is me, and if right, so then it's like no one. It doesn't matter to anyone else, and pseudo
Right,
since no one cares about your
right.
well being, essentially, then
Um,
like it doesn't. It's just up to you, right?
Correct. And that's like that philosophy is nothing really matters. And that could be extended much further than what we're talking about right now.
Right.
But honestly, I don't really know what to say to that because something like that is an actual paradigm shift. And saying like I'm going to like looking at if you wanted to almost take it into hustle culture, um, and thinking about a life that is neat and orderly and taken care of is a life well lived, right? When things are out of order, when they're disorganized, it's harder to get things done. It's harder to think. There's studies on people when you're in a messy environment, it's literally harder for you to think. It's almost like it clutters your mind when you're outside, like around you is also cluttered. Um, you can look into that if you feel like it. So it would be to me approaching that and thinking about it that way is saying like, okay, maybe my mental fog and my disarray in my head is also caused by what's going on around me because we are our environments, right? And saying and disciplining yourself. And most of it comes down to discipline. And most people, I don't think it's not that they don't have the discipline. It's just they don't know how to. They don't know where to begin with it. So yeah, you could be very selfish and say it doesn't matter because I guess it doesn't. But what happens when somebody does come? Or what happens about how you feel like in that environment? You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know? So like take the garbage out before it gets really smelly and ask yourself why you let it get to that point in the first place. Like do you just not value your space enough to care for it? And why do you not care for it? Why don't you value it enough? Why don't you value yourself enough to put yourself in an environment that you feel good in?
Are these rhetorical questions to chat?
They're questions for you to ask for yourself.
Okay.
You can answer them if you feel like it.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm
Um,
not gonna go into that. No.
but I really think that's where that stems from, and then also people with ADHD and stuff like that greatly struggle with task management as it is. So if you really have issues, you might want to look into um, ADHD, um, and that because that could be affecting you, like the
I
inability
can't tell if you're talking to me or talking to chat.
chat
Okay, just
anybody.
making sure.
I'm talking, but I'm also talking to you.
Okay.
Like if you just like can't get it done, like it's that hard, there might actually be a mental reason for that. Because some people do struggle with, like people like I said with ADHD have a lot harder of a time with task management than somebody like me because I don't have ADHD or
Right.
ADD. So
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I definitely don't think I do either. I mean, I would just chalk it down to just being undisciplined and lazy and
yeah,
being able
and
to accepting. Like I said, I've been able to get away with it, so then I've continued to get away with it in that sense.
yeah, and
You
I mean
know,
a good question to ask yourself now is like you're going to be having a new place. Do you want to treat it the same way?
yeah. I mean, I would think that I'm thinking now that my mentality will shift because I'm spending a fortune on something that is going to be my own. I'm not just renting. So maybe that, you mentioned, do you not value your own space? No, because it's not mine. And it's 500 square feet of someone else's place
Yeah.
that doesn't really care about it that much either.
No, definitely. I mean, I definitely felt that way when I moved in to my place now and having like a real space of my own. I felt a much bigger uh, sense of responsibility and want to keep it clean and feeling good. But that's also just me. That's how I act anyway.
Right. Margaret mentions clutter can be a health risk, especially when we're talking trash. Yeah, I
You
mean, we're
know,
not. I mean, there's like the hoarders out there that somehow live with their house full of garbage. You know what I mean?
pathways
I
of
mean,
garbage.
I say I don't like taking out the trash. I still take out the trash. Like it doesn't overflow onto the floor and I leave it there. I mean, maybe my recyclables do,
You're
but my
recycling.
my recyclables are also like clean typically, so it's not like it's garbage. It's like clear glass bottles or cardboard boxes and then it just need to be taken out. Uh, Usually not terrible things, Coke cans or something like that. It's not as bad, I would think, as
No,
like
I listen.
garbage or moldy food
No,
on the
I would
floor.
definitely think for you, it's just like an undisciplined thing where like you just don't want to do that thing. You
Yeah.
just don't want to do it. You would rather play Fortnite. So that's what you go do, which is like 99% of the people anyway, which
Is
is
it?
why I hope these tips can help do the thing.
Yeah. So I really was. I've been curious. Not. I mean, I haven't been curious, but I've been interested in your virtual planner. That's why I mentioned that before.
Yeah.
How does that help you organize
I think,
yourself? I guess. Like, what kind of things do you
yeah,
put in there? What do you think is necessary to put in there? Because I keep my mental checklist, and
mental checklist,
I'm
very
able to
relatable.
like I can maintain my mental checklist like decently. Like
Mhm.
sometimes I'll put in reminders, like if it's a grocery list or something.
Sure.
Seldomly, but I mean,
I'm a firm believer in writing everything. So that's part of what I like digital planning is I have everything in one spot. My finances, my savings, my house organization, my daily plans, my weekly plans, all of that is in one space. Um, and at any time that something needs also I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. So for me, if there's a mistake, unlike in writing on paper, if I wrote the letter G wrong, I would just sit there and like it would like paralyze me. And I don't have to worry about that in digital planning because you just erase it. Um, and it's like it literally never happened. It's great. So I think it's the flexibility of that, but main thing is having everything in like one spot,
okay.
if that makes
So I
sense.
guess my question was, how do so you put everything in there, right? So it's not
Everything.
just some things and other things.
No.
So
It's
you're
my life.
if you need to buy something, it goes in there.
Yeah. I
Any
have
chore
a
you want to do, it goes in there. Birthdays,
birthdays,
meetings. Do
anniversaries.
you put work stuff in there? Meetings for work, or
Yep.
if you have meetings?
Yep.
Okay.
Everything. I also do, if you do want to, if you talk about time management, I do time blocking. So everything's color blocked. So from this time to this time, I'm working. From this time to this time, I'm exercising. From this time to this time, I'm doing a
Right.
target run. Everything's time blocked, color blocked.
And did you have to practice doing that to get into a comfortable routine of something like that, if that
Oh,
makes
for
sense?
sure. Yeah. Just figuring out how you want to run that. Um,
Right.
and
I've thought about doing things like that because I mean I do have my work block, and inside
mhm,
my work block I have like all the meetings and stuff I've scheduled out, and then I was thinking about maybe time blocking even more of that
mhm,
to be even more granular, so I'm more optimizing my time. You know, sometimes I struggle with Turbo Ranger offline content, like the trying to put posts throughout the week and making videos and stuff like that. Like being able to time block that might make it so I'm not so pressed some days to get it out than others. Those are the things that I've been, was hoping to pull out of this conversation
yeah.
and like
I
how
mean,
I
I
could
would
help me
say
do that.
it helped when I started putting in my planner because sometimes, honestly, we would run up on Monday all of a sudden and we were like, oh crap, we don't have anything planned. And that was part of my problem too because I didn't have it in my planner. So for me, I do not depend on my mind to remember anything. Like, what's the point? Like, I don't want to have to expect it to do that because it's too much stress. So for me, now I see Turbo Monday, Monday. And every Sunday, or earlier, I have a mark on my to do. It's already in my dailies. I already went ahead and wrote it. And every Sunday that says Turbo Monday subjects. So then I know when I'm Saturday night, when I look at Sunday and looking at tomorrow and planning the next day, because I usually plan at night. Um, so I have my to do list and stuff already ready for that day. Um, then I'm like, okay, we gotta make sure we talk about that, and we've been really good about that since I put that in my planner.
True.
Um, made a huge difference. So it also makes a huge difference for just life in general. Anything you have to get done, not just household stuff, but literally anything. Um, Especially birth. I love writing down birthdays. It's like my favorite thing. I'm like, I get to put a little balloon next to this. Um, that just makes me really happy inside.
You do. Yeah, I've seen you spend multiple minutes stylizing one square of 1 month for someone's birthday.
And yeah, that's another thing. Is everything straight lines. Everything's neat.
There you
You can,
go. Just a will chat back in here. Do you all use
yeah,
any kind of virtual planners? What do you guys use for task management? Like, does anything Abby talking about ring
make any
home,
sense.
ring true? Bueller,
Prob-
Bueller, Bueller.
Probably not. I don't know if it's that common. I really don't.
I've heard people do it. I've seen people. It's mixed for me. I see both.
Okay, you've seen both. All right. I'm literally the only person I know who plans.
I mean, you do plan everything versus just like some things. Like typically, I if I see it, I usually like I don't know. I mean, think of how I task manage. Like I usually, like I said, I keep a running list of things I need to take care of. Like I have dishes in my sink. I see that something I need. It's like my reminder is seeing it. I
Mm,
guess you're just seeing writing versus not, but my place is pretty small, so it's hard to be out of sight, out of mind when it's always
yeah,
in sight. You know what I mean?
very true. Yeah, for sure. Um, well, yeah, if anybody digital plans, I guess let me
Yeah.
know.
Message Abby. She's on Instagram. She's the master of planning from anyone I've ever met. She stays on top of her things for sure and is disciplined about it. So if you need any hints, if you need help, if you need what app she uses, you need a link to the app that she uses and maybe the planner she's using or something that she's even created herself to get you on the right foot. I think you sell those, right? As well. Not trying to do a pitch
They're
here.
not. No, they're not. They're not currently listed,
Oh,
but
okay,
they.
they're not listed. Never mind.
I do have them though.
Okay,
Yeah.
she's made some herself that they're pretty cute. I've seen one. It was like
Thanks.
gold and
Golden green and
peachy and
white.
greeny white. It was like origami white. I don't know. Great, great. Any
Anyway,
final thoughts on that?
um, just do the hard thing. The thing. Get addicted to the good feeling.
Delayed gratification.
Yeah, that's literally it.
I agree. Yeah, I mean the military, they make you make your bed and do all these seemingly stupid things that are not necessarily stupid, but like rudimentary things. You're like, why are you making me do this? And it's just to build that mental fortitude that I can do these little things, and and then doing them like on time or
Hmm.
early or making sure it's always done, and then you build up those habits. So
Yeah, and it's crazy because whatever the hard thing is in your head, let's say it's dishes, and then you do the dishes, you're like, that was,
yeah,
then you're like, that makes everything else really easy.
right, exactly. I mean, it's all just like this mental fight.